So God is love, no judging. God is love, no resentment. God is love, all patience.
It's definitely including it's important to have experts. It's important to know experts in their fields that have niche, that know everything about it. Because as a generalist, I know a little bit here and a little bit there, a little bit there.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
We are the mother-daughter dynamic duo, and we are Together We Rise.
Yes. And we've been coaches for over 27 years, and we coach in relationships and mental wellness. And so, really, this podcast came about during the COVID, and it was really showing people what is it about people that are able to move forward, even through so many diversities in their life. And I really heard people, and what came out of it is that if you're hearing somebody's stories, because everybody likes a story. So if you're hearing the story, you can relate to it and it makes you feel like, wow, if you can do it, so can I. And that gives you that feeling of, wow, I'm not alone in this. And I think that's really one of the most important things is to help people really listen to other people's stories.
And so they can relate also.
Right.
Right? So they can relate to their own story. Okay. And why don't you thank our sponsors?
Yes, we
Roche?
have a fabulous sponsor, the International Wellness Alliance, which is Elaine Sugar, and she is the CEO and founder. We have Mick Factor, and that's Mick Hunt, and we love him and we thank him. And
we also have our amazing social media team, Prex Agency, Waggis and his team. Thank you, thank you. And now we're going to just switch tunes a little bit. And my mom's going to read
just something that I love to start that really helps foundationally. And what I got today, because I love everything about love. So God is love, no judging. God is love, no resentment. God is love, all patience. God is love, all power. God is love, all supply. And I just take a deep breath and breathe that in, because I just feel as it goes through your body, it kind of grounds you and you go into your heart and you feel that love. So that's why I love to start with something, like that.
So we have a really special guest. She's sitting right to our left. And she's an amazing
Oh my
woman.
God, is she ever? She is so fabulous.
So let's welcome Diana.
Diana, come on down.
Come on up, even though you're here.
Happy today's day. Thank you for the kind words.
Absolutely. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do, just a brief, about you.
Sure. I am what you call a multi-hyphenate. I am a generalist. And even though people say you need to niche, what everyone forgot is who's the person that comes in that sees the bigger picture. So this is what I do, coming from a background in journalism, because I was reporting on so many different things. That gave me the skill set to look at something from a broader perspective, and then going to the individual experts to get support in a certain project. And I just love to get people to the point where and this is a moment I wish, and one day with AI we'll be able to capture it. The moment when someone realizes, oh my gosh, I made it.
Yeah.
That 1 second is everything. And it gives me so much joy as well. It's being happy for others is so amazing, actually. Oh, that was my picture in the background.
That's
That
interesting.
that's not a sign that
I
things
know.
are.
I was
That was a
just.
clap. And no, but seriously, it's an amazing feeling that you have, and that's why I do what I do.
Mm. And I think so many people go for the niche and becomes frustrating. And you're not saying that. Or do you include the niche market as well?
No, it's definitely including it's important to have experts. It's important to know experts in their fields that have niche, that know everything about it, because as a generalist, I know a little bit here and a little bit there, a little bit there. I
Right.
know when to get someone who is really, really focused just on this one thing in
Mm.
order. It's almost like when you have a handyman, right, and they're professional, but they see, okay, so this is something I cannot work on, you need to bring in a different company
Right.
that is more specialized. And it's almost like the same thing. I mean, imagine everyone was a handyman,
Right.
Right.
like you would all have limited skill set. But the thing is, even though a lot of people talk about competition and you need to know what your competition does, actually yes, but for the positive, not for the negative, that you can be better,
Mm.
but actually that you can come together, merge ecosystems and create something even bigger. You
Mm.
can be from the same industry and have 100 different shades of skill set, basically, or
Mm.
levels of skill set. I'm talking about shades because I'm in Germany, we're having 100 different shades of gray. And, but you have,
Not 50 Shades.
oh my gosh, like sometimes, it's a little whitish, then grayish, then grease, then it's a
Wow.
lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
But it's like you have so many different skill set in the same industry. Even in a niche industry, you even have levels there. So if you bring all of them together, you can create something amazing. Even if you mix it, if you have different colors, if you only have one color, it's going to be a one colored image. But if you have different colors, you can bring the colors together, you can mix the colors and get a new color.
Mm.
It's just, there's so much potential in coming together and working together.
Mm. So true. Well, it's true in anything, like community. When you're with a community, you can rise higher than by yourself. You know what I mean? So, it's really interesting what you do. I will
Yeah.
say.
Is there one area that you find for your clients that have been more of a challenge than others?
Not really. If you have a strategy and you figure out which way you want to go, it's the same. If you ask a professional um person that climbs mountains, which one was more challenging, their challenges in different ways.
Sure.
But the thing because no one is the same, and you never have the same strategy. And I think that's why, plus I love a good challenge. I love a good challenge.
I
One
could
time,
see that.
right,
Yeah.
the client, we set up a world record, and they challenged us that we didn't make it.
Mm.
And I wrote almost a thesis on why that is incorrect, and we got the world record
Wow. So
because we had.
can you give me an example of a client that you work with, right? So people can understand exactly what you do. Let's just pick like a previous client and what you did for them, like in an area that they were struggling or they weren't receiving what they wanted, and then you came in. What did you do? So that kind of like a step by step, if you will, so they understand a little bit more.
Mhm. So there are different ways. Some people only want to have media presence. Some really want to have a strategy on how to set up their public relations, their public perception, right? And some others, when you look at the overall project, you may find out, okay, we need a strategy in the overall communication. So what I basically do is I look at a company or help building companies from scratch. For example, this one client who found his father's artwork, which was a painted Bible over a mile long, no words,
Wow.
which brought all religions together, because if there are no words, we are not separated from each other. And we had Jews, Muslims, and Christians standing in front of the book and saying that is our book, that is our holy book, which was fascinating.
Wow.
And no one knew about it. So how do you get something from no one knows about it, no one
Right.
takes it seriously, to eventually 4 years later meeting the Pope?
Wow.
You need a strategy, and you need a good team. You need to put a good team together. And that's basically what we did. We made sure we reach out to media, and within the years, things change in the media business as well. So sometimes you want to appear on a red carpet, for example, or you want to be on a billboard. That is all possible nowadays.
Wow. Wow.
So basically, what we do, I give you a strategy that helps you to get sorted on how you want to appear to the public and who you are, and the authenticity. But I also, as I'm a crisis PR manager, I also see what can happen in worst case scenario. So one thing that I always say is, I'm the happiest person at the end of an event or a project when I can say I was completely wrong. And who does that usually, right?
That's true.
Boy.
But the thing is, if I was wrong, everything went well. There was no hiccup. And that's why I love to be wrong in that case, because that means we had no hiccup. And that is a gift and a skill set that people need to have in PR as well, to see what can go wrong, for example, right? I had one client, and she posted something, and there was nothing wrong with the post. It was a beautiful post, but the picture could have started what we call it a storm on social media, right? So I asked her to take the picture down, because even though the intentions were well and there was nothing wrong with the picture in general, there kind of was.
Right.
And that's how basically we could save her reputation, could save her from being bullied online for posting something she thought was super innocent, but for others it wasn't. Or there was this event in, I think it was the late 80s, where they had over 1 million balloons flying into the air. They had organic press, media was there, everything. And what happened? The wind changed, the balloons came down, people got injured. I think people died, and then animals died as well, because as much as we love balloons that go up in the air, they have to come down somewhere.
Yeah. Wow.
They are, as sad as it is, they are going to kill animals somewhere.
Yeah.
So having this in mind, because you want to raise awareness, you want to do something good, it's from the bottom of your heart, you want to do something good and make a change, but not considering some scenarios.
I got you.
And turn it around 180 degrees, which will be terrible, because all you wanted to do is do something good and make a difference. And that is basically what I do. I'm like you guardian angel, walking you through this.
I love that.
I love it.
That's great.
You can see from above what's going on that people can't see, and you redirect so that it doesn't become a crisis.
Right. But it's all a team effort, right? Like, it's not that I'm perfect. There are always team members who say, and I'm always happy when someone has a question. We have a song for Sesame Street, which is hard to translate because it's the same English word. It's called Wer wie was, which is all translates to who or what. And if you don't ask, you stay stupid. And that's why I always say, like, ask questions. There are no stupid questions ever, because even if someone reacts and says, oh, why, you shouldn't have asked that. Yeah, they should have, because that means we didn't say what they hear and they didn't hear what we said.
That's it.
And that is important as well.
That is, wow. There's so much to what you do. You know what I mean?
It's such
There's
a blessing. God.
So much to what you do. And it's so great because you have the skill set to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you do it well. I can definitely tell for sure. Yeah. So this is a question for you. What's the biggest lesson you learned about yourself in everything you've done to this point? What can you say is the biggest lessons you learned about yourself?
Patience. It's hard. I'm not a patient person. being patient. Things happen for a reason, and
Mhm.
learn how to communicate and check in with yourself. And believe it or not, I sometimes would even use ChatGPT to do that.
What is that?
ChatGPT AI. I would use AI to check
Okay.
in with myself when I think, but wait a minute, my email was very nice. Or how could that, how is that difficult to understand? Then I would check with ChatGPT and say, like, okay, what did I miss? And then
Mm,
ChatGPT points out that it actually could have been perceived a certain way. And you're like,
interesting.
wow, okay, I didn't see it that way. Especially written communication is
Oh yeah.
very, very fragile.
Yeah.
And I this would always be something I recommend. Check in with ChatGPT to see if your email is actually saying what you want to say, or
Mhm.
if it actually only says what you think you're saying.
Wow,
That is
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
So another question is, what was your biggest struggle in your life and how did you overcome it?
Ooh,
These
that's a
are
good
good, deep questions for you. We
It
don't
is.
mess
It is.
around.
It is. It is because looking back, when you overcome something, was it was it big? I don't know, because
Mm,
you overcame it, and then it feels small compared to the next one. So maybe sometimes letting go of things
mm,
that at one point it's just you can try and you can I always have my disclaimer is this is what you can do, but this is what can happen. So I would rather call it challenge. Those are the challenges, and to say at one point I did what I did. If anything was wrong, at least I gave my disclaimer. And at one point that we can allow ourselves to go and leave a situation. um yeah, I think that's what I learned.
yeah. So letting
That's
go is what you're saying.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
challenge. That could
Yeah, I
really
think it's
be
a
a challenge.
process. I
It
don't think,
is.
I think letting go is a process. It
Yeah.
takes, stages of letting go. I think you let go and then you see yourself maybe, you know, I just think it's a process letting go.
But
I
it's
think you
also an
let go and
awareness.
then you're free, you're freer than you were when you're holding on. That's for sure.
Well, I learned that while I was working at one of the largest animal shelters, on-site animal shelters in the US. um,
Mm,
you cannot save them all,
I know.
because if you try, you end up saving no one.
I
Right.
And
know.
so you do the best you can, and at least you have saved some lives,
Yeah,
compared to no lives. So, and
yeah.
that's what I also mean by letting go. It's like you need to allow yourself to do what you can do, because otherwise you are going to burn out, and then you're not helpful to anyone.
Yep.
That's a
Amen.
good lesson. That's a very good lesson because when people are burnt out, it's almost like they're trying so hard and they're spinning their wheels and they end up like with nothing because they've lost themselves in this. And that's really so important not to do something like that. It's a detachment.
So here's another fun question. And this is a good one, what activities in your life light you up and bring joy to your heart?
Oh, um volunteering and helping kids and animals. That is
Mm,
Mm.
something, helping kids to help themselves and animals as well. Hence the volunteering. And I've been foster mom to several dogs and cats in the past. Um, and then to give them to a home as well. Some people say, like, isn't that difficult? Like, don't you want to keep them all? No, you don't, because it's not necessarily you feel it's not your dog, your cat, and you find them a forever home and you can save another life.
yeah.
Mm.
And there's so
I
many
know.
out there. There's
Boy.
so
That's
many.
why I always ask people to look into spay and neuter. That is the answer to all the overpopulation to overpopulated shelters. Spay or neuter. Do not let your dog breed. They are not human beings. They don't miss having children. It's and for cats, actually, it hurts.
Yeah,
For
cats are word. Yeah,
it
cats.
hurts. So if you're a cat owner, you want to look into this, you feel free. It just we have so many, and until we do spay. In Holland, for example, they do not have street dogs anymore.
Wow.
They don't.
Really
So
interesting.
street dogs here in the I can only speak for Germany, Holland, and the surrounding countries. We don't necessarily have that.
Interesting.
Wow.
Wow, that's really
Never heard of
never
that.
heard of that either. Because of course here there are cats all over the place. Not so much dogs. It's more of
Oh,
the
we have free roaming cats, but
Yeah.
they usually have a home, or someone who feeds them, or someone. There was a cat. I don't even know if it was feral or not. She lived in my sister's neighborhood. She had so many people feeding her.
Oh my God, it was like a communal feeding. Yeah, that same thing here too. I know
Yeah.
people feed them all
Yeah.
the time. So
I agree.
yeah. So if this is a great question, if you were able to change the world as it is today, what changes would you make and why?
Greed and ego.
Mm,
Greed and ego, because we don't need world peace, because there wouldn't be any reason to ask for world peace if greed and ego were not in existence.
true, true.
So if there was no greed and ego, we wouldn't need to worry about anything anymore. So I think those are the things
Mm.
that would help a lot.
To let go of
To
the
let
greed
be-
and the ego,
right.
to be able to,
And that's big.
yeah.
Not only even let go, because that means they were already there. If I could extinguish both just by wishing for it, and because we say like money is the core of all evil, but it's not. It's money is paper.
Right,
Money
exactly.
is paper, and
So it
others say
is.
money is energy. So it's not that the thing is evil, or the person that there are people out there, they're doing so many amazing things with the money they have.
Yeah,
So it is not the core of all evil. It's the greed and the ego that makes it.
yeah.
Amen to that. Absolutely, 100%.
So what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for, gosh, so many things. Every morning I wake up with soca music. So if anyone ever is in a bad mood, I highly suggest soca because you cannot lay still. And when I get up and there's sunshine out there, that I'm grateful for that. And
Mm,
it's it is the simple things. Sometimes it's hard to believe, especially if you have low vibrations and low energy. You would think, oh my gosh, yeah, but that's basic. That's what I expect. And
mm,
I think it's hard to say, oh, someone else has it worse than you, because everyone is living in their own reality. So for them, maybe it's not even worse. They have an amazing life, even though they are in a different situation where we would think it's worse, but for them it's not. But for this person, maybe it is, right?
yeah.
So trying to get into that state. And if you are in the state where it's really hard to be grateful for anything, get yourself some chocolate for just even getting up. Like treat yourself for something for just getting up, because that already in this situation is very taxing, very challenging already. So and then at one point it gets better and better, and then you get there. And the thing is, we need to remind ourselves, even though we fall, we never end up on level 1.
Yeah.
That is true. Gratitude
Yeah,
is such a
gratitude.
vibration. And I have always looked around, even when I open my eyes and I go, I'm so grateful for being able to sleep And, I'm so grateful that the sun is out. I'm grateful for where I am. And that vibration will absolutely shift you. And a lot of times people write in a journal what they're grateful for, and that automatically, because you really stop and look and say, wow, what am I grateful for? And it just dissipates everything else. So it's such a great practice.
Yeah. So, is there someone in your life that inspires you, and why?
There are
Who
many.
inspires you? Like, who did inspire you, and why did they inspire you? That's kind
They
of our last little hoo-ha question.
Yeah. There are actually many people that inspire me through what they do, how they work, how they see lives, how they create their own reality, how resilient they are, um, and how they never give up. And
Mm,
some even through their stories as well, and that they became someone they thought they would never become.
mm. And
That's
in
true.
that, was there a specific book or something you read that inspired you the most? Did you have a good book that inspired you for people out there that maybe are,
Yeah.
maybe not inspired or are having a hard time? Is there a book that you like that would inspire not only you but others?
Well, they're classics. Honestly, the philosophers, the classic philosophers, because that's where everything comes from.
Yeah.
Everything we read is based off of them. Um, Never read Camus during the winter time. That would be my recommendation. Never read Camus or Sartre during winter time, only during the summer. Otherwise, it backfires. Um, Definitely for anyone who is working with content and copy, how building a story brand. That book is everything. Also very hard to understand. Sometimes it takes some work, but
Mhm.
that's actually what you do in the book, the work. Um, is that book from Byron Katie, where she talks about turning things around and whatnot. And sometimes she has examples where I would say, okay, really? Um, then there are so many. I'm like
Mm,
I read like 4 books or listen to 4 or 5 audiobooks a month. So
Wow.
there's so many great books that are out there, depending on the different situations. What I usually do
yeah.
is I go back and look into what, like what relates to the situation of the book.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I know all the people out there
Oh,
not only
yes.
get a full view of what you do, but also of who you are and what really inspires you and what other people can use too in what you're
Without a
sharing
doubt.
that can
Without a
help them.
doubt.
So we
Yeah.
so appreciate everything that you shared today.
And how could people get a hold of you?
If they
Well, you
want.
can reach me through my website, dlmediaai.com, or on LinkedIn, Diana Lammerts, which is DianaLammerts, and just send me a message. And yeah, same for the other social media, same handle.
Okay. And what were you going to say?
And so, what we want to, of course, close with that, we have a free discovery call for people as well. And
Yes.
just to DM us and to close, I always like to say this: love is the beauty of the soul, and it really
Mm.
is. And Diana, you are definitely that,
And then some.
and then some, and then some. And just we're so happy that
We finally
we
made this
finally
happen.
got this together.
And we're just grateful. And hopefully, if you ever come on this side of the pond,
Yes,
you can meet us for lunch
yes,
or whatever. If you ever come down into the Florida area, we'd love to meet you in person.
yes,
Definitely.
It's
Thank
always
totally.
you so
nice,
much.
nice to see. And I like your little plants back there. I love those little plants.
Oh, they were actually little. My sister make them. She took really good care of them while I was traveling, and they tripled. So
They look great.
They
I
look
love
great.
plants.
The plants also
Well,
give you the-
vibrations, because your
energy,
sister gave all
yes.
that
Right?
love.
Yes,
And now
absolutely.
you're standing in the love of what was in your family. So there you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Everybody reach
Thank you
out
so-
if they need Diana.
They need her.
and
Trust
they
me.
do.
They need you.
So we thank
We
you.
thank you so much.
And
Thank
everybody
you.
out there, have a great rest
Have
of
a
your
beautiful
day.
rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. We love you.
And we'll see you soon.
Yes.
Thank you. Stay blessed and safe.
Thank
Thank you.
you.